Yo, what's going on? What's going on? I am not feeling it. No, I'm alright. Beating down this cold and things. I don't know if it's a cold, I don't know what it is. I've been struggling here lately. But for those who can't see on YouTube, my Browns won today, so that's all good. We're gonna do a little bit of dog talk tonight, man. What's going on, Minnie? Man, I'm really like super relaxed. So it might not even be the greatest live. I took some of this damn medicine. It's got me feeling okay. But you know, oh, showing love from the Houston Texans, huh? Boo! Nah, we play y'all next week. So what's going on, Felina? Mrs. Take Pictures in the Desert. And then we're gonna talk about the Browns being lucky, huh? We're gonna let it build up so y'all can talk as much shit as y'all want to. What's going on, Keith? I'm back home so I can check on everything. I don't know. You got the worst luck with your package. I think you work for the CIA or something. Then we're gonna talk about that the Bengals is the better team in Ohio. No, they're not. The Browns proved that today that it's a new day. That we will have no more talk of the Bengals. The Bengals are absolutely terrible. The Browns are everything. But hey, what's going on, Belinda? Oh, I think we should get 6 wins this year, man. I hope so. I say four is a lot more than zero that we had last year, so I can deal with it. Ohio State might be the best team in Ohio, but that's my team too, so I don't take no ugliness towards that. Everybody gonna beat up on my teams, man, but that's cool. Uh, it's been a ton of shit going on. What's going on, no real? Man, I ain't gonna even deal with you. I seen some of that shit you been posting. um, I tell you like this. We've been going back and forth about a lot of things, and it sounds like Easy is going crazy in the background. I may have to get him in a minute if he doesn't. Usually he's pissed for like 2 minutes, and I think my oldest son is probably looking at him like, I don't deal with babies. But I tell you what, I see we've had haters and everything else talking about unfriend me and all this shit. No, I can't even sip no skinny girl. They got me on medication. Skinny girl and the medication might not work today. This dude is pissed and nobody's getting him. Hey, y'all give me like 2 seconds. Let me see what the hell's going on. We got a mad toddler. Dude, what's your problem? Come here. Come here. Are you that mad? You messed up a whole video. Yeah. They pissed you off? Let's do it. You wanna go on video with Daddy? We don't care. Look, say hi. You gonna say hi? Okay, look like I got a co-host for this video. They abandoned Easy. My dude was in there pissed off. And you gonna say hi to everybody? He still just what is it? What are you doing? He's like, thank you. He's no daddy duties definitely don't stop when all my kids is daddy's boys. Huh. And daddy boys? Well, I guess he's gonna do the video with me, so Y'all, bear with me. This should be interesting. Pretty soon he's gonna start reaching for stuff. Right now he's amazed because behind me is like a bunch of mirrors. So he's seeing himself on these little TVs. What's going on, Dwight? Well, it's TV slash phones, I guess. And then now he's looking in the mirrors. You still haven't shook your crying face off? Yeah, he sort of looked like his dad, Chico DeBarge version. But I guess I'll try. It's gonna be challenging to try to do it with this dude. You're gonna be ready. Y'all give me 1 second to get used to it. See what I tell y'all? I knew the bullshit was gonna start. Look, there you go. You gonna act right? Hmm? You gonna act right? Hopefully we make it through this. This should be interesting because this dude here is worse than poop. Don't let him fool y'all. He worse than poop. He's just like right now. Look, see, he getting on this bullshit already. Sit over here. Y'all won't be able to see him on that one. Yeah, this is the latest production. I gotta produce a girl. See, you always gotta have everybody who got a daughter. You're lucky because when you get old, your daughter is gonna be the one to keep you out the nursing home. Yeah, your son's gonna just say, we gotta put daddy's ass up. See, I know that this would be the guy. He had the last vote, and he gonna vote me out. They gonna put my old ass in the nursing home, take my dogs. They liable to change the name. Shit won't even be D-Line no more. They'll make some shit like D-Line point five. Just change the whole name of it. That's why I gotta have at least one daughter somewhere along the way. I gotta find one. I don't give a shit. I might have to adopt one. I might pull an Angelina Jolie and go to China and get me a little Chinese daughter to keep my ass up out of the nursing home. Cause I know all I'm gonna have to do is break one hip, and these dudes they gonna put me away. They gonna put me away, and I ain't gonna be ready for it. Hey, you got 4 boys? Yeah, I got 3 of these things. They cool though, cause you can just not you can see. I don't really know how I would deal with a girl. I never, girls are all soft and shit. I couldn't see myself treating a daughter like I treat my boys. Like my boys fall, and I'm just like, to hell with you. Get up, get your little ass up. My girl, I got a funny feeling if I did have a daughter, I'd be super soft, like Bobo. Bobo soft on his daughter. Ain't nothing wrong with that though. When you got a girl, especially when you the dad, you let the mom be the little evil one. Moms they beef with their daughters. The little bitch, lucky I don't kill her. She's I done heard that from a million moms. The little bitch, lucky I don't kill her. But I tell you what, the dads be like, you better leave her alone. But let's talk some dogs. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Bobo. I would be in that same boat. You know, it's been a lot going on as far as TBKC goes. And a lot of it's been show coordination, and a lot of when y'all see me dipping here and there, and sometimes it's personal trips, but a lot of times I have been doing some business on these trips. And part of the business is we got a lot more sponsors, and we're working on some more major sponsors. And our sponsorship deals are more so in the give back type of category, not necessarily for the TBKC to get paid, but to open up different avenues for people who love dogs. I'm happy to announce, and I'll talk about this tonight. And I can't tell y'all all of the rules, but we will be having a service dog class now. And of course, it's a little bit different than a confirmation class, but we are creating a thing, and we're working hand in hand with some people to make sure that we do something that would encourage people to come out with their service dogs and have the service dogs recognized. Uh, One of our representatives is a Olympic gold medalist. There he goes right there. You know, we got people who are very entrenched into into many different things. Like I say, one of the guys that you'll see doing a lot of work, throwing shows, actually doing a couple breedings with myself, but most importantly, is about to do some speaking engagements with the TBKC, and he already is a speaker. Really, dude? He already is a speaker nationally. I would say an international celebrity. And if y'all on Facebook, y'all see it right there, Mr. Woods. Anytime that the president knows who you are, and that was the president before this character we got now. But he's a hell of a guy, man. And I would like for y'all to follow the brother, But he's going to be helping us out. And I don't want to get too much into him right now because we're going to do a lot of special things later where we'll be a lot more organized and he can speak for himself. But it's been a pleasure to make some of these connections. We also have, another Olympian who's actually a swimmer. And all of our campaigns that you'll see in 2019 are all about healthy dogs, not necessarily conformation, but about healthy dogs, which we know in the show ring goes really do. Come on, man, really goes hand in hand uh, with conformation goes hand in hand with health. And y'all forgive me if I get a little distracted. And there's the hat. Okay, I guess he gonna let me keep it. But one of the hardest one of the hardest things that we're gonna have to overcome in our community is the low standards. Y'all, excuse me. Um, One of the things we're gonna have to overcome the super low standards that we have. Sometimes people think that oh, he so I can't friend request him. He like me. He had 5,000. Well, you gotta remember, shit. The guy, if a guy then went to the Olympics and all that stuff, he gonna have a lot of friends. But do the follow. And but I tell you, as a community, one of the things I notice people are like, oh, it's negativity. And I'll be real with y'all, it's not negative to talk about health and to talk about doing these dogs the right way. Uh, the biggest thing, and Mr. Wood says, go ahead and inbox him. But I tell you, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we have to retrain our brains. When I said what I said about, for instance, Rocco, it wasn't a thing of hate, but let's bring levity to this situation. If we want our dogs to be a certain way, then how in the world can we have winners, or national winners, and all these different things with major issues? And I'm telling you, when you talk about the major issues, sometimes the major issues is just like the fact that a national winner with a kink in the tail, come on. A nationals winner with a high rear, a nationals winner that won't perform good, you know, a bad top line. And this is not just to pick on that one dog because I've said it about, several others, Mr. Beans and different dogs uh, uh, that have those issues. But if we want our dogs to be taken seriously, we do have to look at our dogs like they do at Westminster. We do have to start taking our dogs very, very serious. And this is the only way we're ever going to get the gene pool corrected. Yeah, just like Jesus said, the truth is not a negative thing. When we talk about some of these dogs, this is a shit show. It's a shit show. You know, um, all of the talk about money this and money that, you lose money. You lose a lot of money by turning away some of these dogs. You know, in recap and hindsight, you know, everybody asked me about what did I feel. You okay? How did I feel with about the Bear winning the Nationals, and that was great. You know, I felt like that the Bear honestly was, you know, one of the top three dogs in the nation the last couple of years. He's always been one of the best dogs. So to have a dog, so to have a dog, go, dude, is you gonna stop? To have a dog that actually is deserving to win is a good thing for the breed. And I don't have anything negative to say about that. I think when you start to, he sees himself and he's dancing with himself in the mirror. Well, get it then. You should show him what you. I told y'all this was gonna be a challenge, sir. Okay. Dude. Okay. We're gonna try. Yeah. But now he's getting loose. I told y'all this is the crazy baby. But we just have to stick to the script. The Bear is a good start, but I still have a major problem with a dog, and I'm gonna keep on pointing it out. A dog like Rocco even getting to the finals. That's a slap in the face to the breed, And I'm not here for people's opinions. Opinions don't matter to me, No, I'm not just talking about kink tails in the ring. I'm talking about period. I'm talking about at what point do we have a standard that eliminates all of this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, how do we call our nationals champion a dog that has a high rear? Now, if you combine that with a high rear, a kink tail, a bad top line, not to mention issues that go on with temperament, this is insulting to the breed, and nobody will ever be able to take our breed seriously. Kink tail should automatically be a disqualification. I think a severe high rear should be an issue. You know what I mean? But this is the thing, and this is what drives me crazy when I do these interviews, and I'm just being real with y'all. We're talking about two different things. I'm glad that y'all keep bringing this up. Yes, Denzel's father had a kink tail. Yes, we know that. Does Denzel have a kink tail? Okay. This is the biggest difference. Denzel's father was never a big-time show winner. Denzel's father was used to make a show winner. So when I use Gargoyle to Hallie to make Denzel, I got the features of Gargoyle that I liked, that I very much so liked. I eliminated his tail issue, therefore his son was eligible to win where he couldn't. That is not the problem. I am not on here telling people that you can't use a dog with a kink tail. I'm not telling you that you can't use a dog with a bad bite. What I'm telling you is that under no circumstances is that dog with that screwed up tail or that bad bite or those fucked up feet or that high rear or that sloping back, none of that shit should ever win in a show ring, because a show ring is a place for excellence, not mediocrity in any way, shape, or form. You can do whatever you want to do in your bedroom, but you straighten your ass up when you come to that show ring, and it's just that simple. You can be as freaky and as kinked up as you want to be anywhere else in the world, but when you come to that show ring, you will have respect, and if you don't, we will kick your ass out, because we have a real show ring. I didn't eliminate within the TBKC. All of my judges, all of my reps will tell you there has been no discussion at all of eliminating dogs with kink tails and pulling their papers. There's never been that discussion. There's never been a discussion of eliminating bad bites. But inside the show ring, I got you, Rob. Inside the show ring, it's a must that we hold us everything to a different level. The show ring is the very top of everything that we do. This is where it's a show ring. This is where we're showing our breed to the world. It's not just us handing out ribbons and patting each other on the back. I don't care which one of our judges it is, whether it's Belinda, whether it's Steph, of course, John, whoever hits the ring, they all have the same standard that they have to pick the best dog in that ring. That dog represents not only the judge, it represents the registry, it represents the community, it represents our breed to the entire world. Whoever comes to your registry to see what you just picked as the best dog, this is your representative to the entire world of what this breed is supposed to be. That's why in some cases, we have to make a conscious decision that no dog wins this day. Because if there is no one in the house that is good enough to represent the breed, you take the ribbon away. Everybody can't win. Are you sleepy? Everybody can't win. It's that simple. Sometimes we just have to, that's all you wanted. Sometimes we just have to get back to the basics, Oh, yeah, Short Shot was a pretty good sized dog. He wasn't giant, but he wasn't a pocket or anything. He was a pretty good sized dog. He wasn't a small dog, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, Shorty was not he was not a tiny dog. You have to remember excuse me, for those on YouTube, the question from a homie No Real was just that if was Short Shot a small dog? He wasn't. The dog was fairly good size. What you have to remember, if you're into an American bullies like that, you have to remember Little Roe was considered to be a very small dog. And Little Roe was actually 17 inches, 75-ish pounds, very, very tight, muscular. Had the type of frame that probably could have carried another 5 to 10 pounds, but he also was a very super leaned out dog too. He always was ripped, but he was considered to be the super small dog of that time. And he wasn't he wasn't small, not compared to what we see today. Compared to what we see today, Short Shot is a giant compared to what we see today. Really, most of those dogs back then, were big dogs. And the reason they were big is because, we've talked about that many a times. Even the ads back then were big dogs. If your dog wasn't 100 pounds, if you're talking about 2000, in that 2000 area, 2005, even up to probably 2007, 2008 is when you started to see a change with the pocket. But most dogs were just like, if you didn't have a 100-pound dog, or you didn't have a blue dog, because tries weren't that popular then, but it was 100-pound blues and 100-pound reds. If you had either one of those, you was in the game. You was doing it big, And that's what it all was about back then. The small dogs, like, it's crazy because even like Paco wasn't that small of a dog. Paco was still 16 inches, and I never got Paco on a scale. But I would promise you Paco had to be over 80 pounds. Just knowing what Little Roe was, and I had Little Roe on the scale. I kept Little Roe out here 7 or 8 months. That was when I was back in Ohio. This dude, he was 75 pounds when I got him up to weight. Paco was a lot thicker than Little Roe. So, even considering, he was considered to be the little guy, I would say he was probably an 80-pound dog at least. None of these dogs were that. I liked Ichiban, and I liked some of his kids. I think one of our biggest problems is, Ichiban falls into the same category as I don't think he was bred enough to the right type of dogs. When we start talking about a lot of these dogs, and I talked about it on a live earlier, the hype has killed our breed in a lot. Excuse me, in a lot of ways. Because one of the biggest problems is that we try to discredit the best studs in our breed over and over again. When I say the best studs, I just say the studs who have produced, And I'm sorry, some of these messages are freezing up. But the studs who have produced, a lot of times we try to discredit them to try to find the next big thing. And I talked about it on the other live. Back in the day, and I know Dwight was on here, and I saw a couple other guys who go back here. You never looked for the dog that you liked. You always look for his dad. You done? You always look for his dad, you know? And nowadays, it's sort of amazing that every time we see a dog that we like, we want to breed just to that dog. People don't even wait to see if these dogs produce anymore. And that's a big change, you know? I think the way that we set up things, you know, will be a huge difference. We have to get back to understanding that the show ring is for show and the studs are the dogs who produce. Now, we already know that you have to have your first breedings, but even with those first breedings, that teething stage, even with those first breedings, most of the time when I have a stud, I do breedings inside my own yard to see what he's going to produce like. And I'm very, very timid, about how I go until it's time. And you have to, and when I say time, that just means that the dog has proven that he can throw a certain level of genetics. Our problem is that boy, you gonna fall asleep? We litter the community with unproven studs. And like I say, once again, I'll go to the thing that dog talk is boring to him. Poop, Poop would just be yelling D-line in the middle of everything, but Poop already checked out and went to sleep. But this is like dog pecking order is a huge ass thing. The question was about aggression. You okay? Uh, when you talk about aggression, hold on, y'all. I think this is the pickup for this guy. You happy? His mama got him now. He cool. Yeah, mommy came and picked him up, so he good to go. Yo, LV, what's going on, man? That's a real dog, man. There. I tell you, we have to get our community back to just real dog people that don't accept things. And the one thing that I've been saying forever is like we don't have to beg other people to be a part of our community. I don't really care. This is what I've been saying, and y'all gonna notice this. We are going to be going head to head with some other communities. A lot of people talked about how they noticed that it was other breeds that was starting to post up a little bit, starting to mingle a little bit. We've been actively talking back and forth with certain breeders from other breeds, and inviting them in, and we've actually gonna have a little campaign started next month to recruit all of the other breeds just to come over to do some shows, man. You know, oh, Alvy, man, I'm glad that you finally back, man. I heard you got the beast back too. I gotta get your number. I'm horrible with this Facebook stuff, but I got the same number if you don't got it. But I inbox you right after this. But we gotta link up. But I tell you, the truth of the matter is that the American bully has to be rebuilt almost ground up. There's still some good examples. My guy Alvy right there, he's got one of the ones that I like the most, Denzel's son. Man, Champion Evo. And he still got attitude too. That's a good thing. Man, you got that shit right, no real. What's crazy is if you see my folder, and I'm being dead serious with you, I got that written right there. I've been in Mexico, I've been in Texas, I've been sick. So that just messed up everything. I actually just hit Nick up today so we could start talking more shows and all this stuff. I got to hit Kim. I called and asked her for her phone number and lost my voice. Kim like, damn it, man. But, my question is, how many people want to compete at that high of a level? And I'm being serious because some of the judges that we are bringing in, of course, you know the TVKC judges, but some of the judges that we are bringing in are not TVKC judges. They won't be TVKC judges. You know, for sure, Alvi. I promise. Right after this, I'm gonna send you over my line. Um, some of our invitationals will be just universal type judges, judges that have judged all over the world. I know a few of them. I've been privy to meeting a couple good ones, you know, and oh man, I'm gonna get to that, Robert. But it's gonna be, you know, y'all excuse me, I'm still fighting it. But we're gonna have to. Oh, Angus, man, got to get my boy over here. But I tell you, we have these judges that are coming in that have judged AKC, UKC, judged around the world. And the main reason why sometimes it'll be those judges coming in, for one, nobody can ever accuse us of being um, partial to anybody. For two, this lets us know where we're at. When those judges come, most times what you're going to see in the ring with you is you're going to see a good, you're going to see a good, you're going to see a good influx of other breeds. The English, the Rottweiler, the Doberman, Bordeaux, you know. Excuse me. Can't shake that damn cough. And what this is going to do is let us know where we're at. Let me pick up the pace. It's going to let us know, you know, where we're at, period. And what I want everybody to do is to take the attitude that we are out to beat the other breeds. Not that we're out to beat each other. Because I'm just going to be honest with y'all. The American Bully has yet to truly create dogs consistently. I've seen a few over the years that could go into a Westminster ring and truly compete. And it's been too few. We haven't been consistent across the board on a lot of things. And until we, until we do that, we're gonna struggle. You know, if I could breed Denzel to any blood, I tell you, I would love to breed to a very, 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 very nice Remy female. Back in the day, you know, the edge blood, you know, I guess transitioning some. And there was a question just on on Facebook for the YouTube viewers. But, you know, the edge blood was like puzzle pieces. It was never finished. And I'm going to tell you, you will know, you know what I mean? You would know. I'll answer that. I got a lot of questions bouncing around. But you could breed, say, Remy blood to Paco. Excellent results. The key to breeding, was always the breeding back to either Paco blood. It always worked good with any kind of Cairo blood. But Paco blood worked great. You know, Excalibur. If you want to see that Excalibur blood work incredible, breed it to something else in the Edge family. You know, the bloods were never. That's why Razor's Edge was never a real line, because what Razor's Edge was a bunch of pieces that was waiting to be put together. And in that process, you know, Dave stopped breeding, and you had a bunch of breeders. You know. Oh, Alvy, you did incredible taking that old school edge blood to Denzel. All edge blood was always meant to go together for the most part, you know. And then you would do a splash, you know. You would do a splash. And I'm talking about a true splash of Gotti blood. It would kill it every time. Go Browns, Jason. Somewhere, I think Something that's the problem, Stephen. A lot of paper hanging, but somewhere in the mix, man, I tell you, well, that's more edge blood, John. But somewhere in the mix, people just decided to do whatever they wanted to, and I think instead of us going from a point to where we were making a breed, people wanted to recreate something. What's going on, Danny Smith? And we had never really made the American bully, and that's the sad part of what you know. I keep telling people over and over again, we never finished making the American bully. And that's why today you have 55 different looks. We're not even talking about the classes. You know, you have 55 different looks. We can't even be consistent in our looks. We can't even be consistent in our temperament. You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Question was, are the new edge blood is the new edge blood too tall? No, that's where the old edge dogs was all tall in the first place. This term that y'all use, tall, is just it's funny to me because, or it's funny to anybody else who goes back a ways because all of the dogs were tall back then. Like I was saying earlier in this thing, Little Row was considered short, and Little Row was 17 inches. You know, I think we lost our. I hear you, Ruben, for sure. We lost our identity when the short dogs came in. When the short dogs came in and the short dogs started getting high money, everybody did what they wanted to, and they killed them. Most of the old dogs. I mean, most of the old dogs were realistically 20 inches, 20, 19, 20, 21, 22 inches. They were some big ass dogs. If you seen these dogs, it just wasn't like this is nothing you was gonna let sit on your damn lap. You wasn't even picking these dogs up. Yeah, I'm actually doing Denzel to some Excalibur blood. I'm just telling you, if y'all want almost breeding for dummies, take all the edge blood and mix them together. If you got Remy blood, breed the Excalibur blood. Watch what happens. Or you can breed the Paco blood. Watch what happens. It's something about all the edge dogs. They're all like pretty much interchangeable, as far as bouncing blood off of each other. The bad part about what happened with most edge breeders is most edge breeders wanted to inbreed everything. You're right, Albie. Pockets damn sure was a default. They was considered runts, and you had to get rid of them. Gaff blood is amazing with edge blood. That's actually how I got Castro. Castro's grandmother is a Gaff bitch. But to be honest with y'all, if you know Razor's Edge dogs, a lot of them are Gaff blood in the first place. Yeah, I don't think I'm with you, Roman. I think it's going to be very hard to finish off the blood. I think the breed can be finished off, and I think the only way that the breed can be finished off is if it starts to be influenced in the ring. You know, if it starts to get to the point in the ring where dogs just can't win if they're not a certain way. Then I think you'll start to see a transformation as to where people are like, okay, we got to either do this or we got to leave. And we look forward to pushing that envelope to making people leave. Excuse me. Yeah, we believe me, Nigel, we got over a dozen shows in Florida and we're coming to Georgia. It's been a slow process because I've been all over the map, but we are seeing a lot more success now, and it's climbing. In the U.S. alone next year, we're climbing towards 100 shows, and it'll be over 100 shows total after we take on Jamaica and Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Panama. We got a pretty good start here as to where we're going. I'm pretty sure I left off some countries, but that's it. I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe in cleaning up blood. And y'all see I'm bouncing around because I'm reading messages. I don't believe you can clean up blood. I think it's if you pour bleach on shit, it's still shit. It's just got bleach on it. And one of my things is this. I asked this question, since you brought up Rocco. I asked this question to a couple very, very good, good breeders, you know, and I'm gonna tell you this. What would be the point? What would be the point of using a dog like Rocco? What does he absolutely? What does he bring to the table? If you're just a breeder, what is your decision? You know, hey Anthony, I'm back in business, man. We got to link up for sure. It's been rough for me, but what would be your decision? What's going on, Jalil? To use Rocco? Nobody can give me a real answer. And this is I would be the opposition. And this is what I would say about this. Okay, I got a bad bitch here, right? The bitch is nice. She's got good conformation. She's bully. She's a beautiful dog. Why would I pick Rocco to breed to her? What does he bring to the table? But why would you use him for mass? Mufasa carried just as much mass as Rocco. Far better conformation. This is the problem. If you use a dog like that for mass, now, okay, you get some size. But this is the thing. If you look at his pedigree, doesn't say size. Everything behind him says that he was an accident because that breeding was meant to breed smaller dogs and he got bigger. So the odds of you actually adding mass from that dog is not that good. Yeah, for sure, Avi, I got you. You won't get it. That was an accidental breeding. If you look at his pedigree, his grandmother is a 2-inch exotic. So if you do that, that's that. I mean, to be honest, from some of the things I've seen, Shamrock is a beautiful dog also, but it brings you to ask these questions. If you just want size on a dog, if that's what you're looking for, why would you breed the dogs who have flaws? Because you're going to get the size, but goes back to my thing of bleach on shit. You're going to get the size, but you're going to get the shit too. You're going to get the bleach, but you're going to get the shit. You add in those round eyes. You add in his bad conformation. You add in, the high rears, the kink tails. That thing he does where he hangs his head and he doesn't want to do anything. Everything that comes bad with this dog, you've added when there was better options. In my personal opinion, and not to say that, not just shout out Mufasa, not to say that he is a perfect dog, but I think I could add mass a lot better from him or his father than I could off of Rocco. And I think that's why it goes to this day, and I've told y'all this about Mr. Beans. If you talk about Rocco and you talk about Beans, they have no great productions out here. For all of the hype and all of the 7,000-8,000 breedings every week, they don't have great productions because they're not producers. They go back to what they were. But at the end of the day, yes, it could be different strokes for different folks, but it won't be allowed in the show ring. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying as a breeder, I'm not even just talking about the dog itself. I'm talking about breeding 101. If we're talking about breeding 101, you're supposed to be eliminating flaws. You're supposed to be eliminating flaws. How could Rocco be the best in any class? Right now, I can tell you as a judge, and I've judged in several different countries. I've got plenty of winners. I'm very qualified to be a judge. Just from my naked eye and a few times I've seen him in breaking down videos, we've got to deal with the kink tail, the high rear, the off top line. His rear end angulation is not that great. He doesn't move correctly in the front. And at times he has to be drug around the ring, which shows me that his temperament is not where it needs to be. If he's the best example that we have in the standard class, then my God, we are screwed. We are Scrooge McDuck. He compares nothing to what the bear is. I'm not saying that the bear is a perfect dog, but the bear just absolutely destroys that. And I can pick many other dogs that destroy that. I go off, when you come into my show ring, and I'm talking as a judge right now, you have to bring me a dog. Don't bring me no half-ass shit. Don't bring me wow factor. Because that shit gets kicked out the ring. This is a confirmation show. It's not a show to see who has the biggest dog, who has the most mass and this and that. That's not what the show is about. This show is about excellence. This show is about what we do is something totally different than what's being done right now. You know, first and foremost, will your dog show? Exactly, Machiavelli, a dog with confidence. Does your dog walk into the ring with his head up and he's ready, head up, tail up, and he's ready to do his thing? Because that counts when I'm judging. It should count when anybody is judging. So does your dog have temperament? You can't drag your dog around the ring. If you dragging your dog, trust and believe, more than likely we going to either ask you to leave or your chances have been totally X'd out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what I see what I see is, as I see a bunch of excuses, but I see very few answers. Everybody can tell me everything that's wrong with a dog. These dogs got it too. This dog did it too. Guess what? They all lose. That's the difference. That's the new day. That shit doesn't work here anymore. You don't get to come in here and tell me that this dog's dad had a kink tail. That dog's dad had bad feet. This dog got a bad bite. Because guess what? Now we're on an even playing field to where if you bring a screwed up dog, I don't care who you are or what you doing, guess what? We scratching. You know? We scratching. If your dog is acting like a cur in the ring and having to be dragged around or acting like he's scared or taking shits in the ring, we scratching. We get that out of here. You know why we do this? Not to be mean or not to be, any kind of weight towards people, but we are looking for the best dogs in the world. Ain't y'all tired of making fucking excuses? I have to ask that question. Are y'all not tired of making excuses? Are y'all not tired of talking about everything that was wrong in the bully world and justifying that for y'all fucked up ass dogs? Just because everything has been screwed up for years do not mean that you get to keep on justifying it by the dogs were screwed up 20 years ago. This dog had a limp. That dog had a limp. No, we're going to shut that shit up. And we're going to start shutting that shit up tonight. You're right, Ruben. Only the strong will survive. We are taking the elite and we are pushing the elite forward. If you are not an elite type of person, then we are not here for you. We don't want them bullshit dogs. This is no longer an argument. This is the problem. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Don't touch that dog. Stop pushing that dog's ass down so you think that we don't see his high ass rear. You take that damn cooling pack out this ring. No, you cannot drag a dog around the ring. The American Bully is supposed to be a proud, full of life dog that can walk around the ring and damn near look like he want to tear the ring up. But he's controlled enough not to. That's what an American Bully is. Y'all taking the spirit away from these dogs, man. All these dogs with their heads hanging around there and pissing and shitting in the ring with their tails between their legs. What the fuck is that, man? Come on. Y'all call yourself dog, man. That shit's embarrassing. That shit can't even live in my yard. I understand one thing about a dog having a docile temperament. I got a few of those, but when it's time to get down, it gets down. This is just reality. If you're going to act like a cur, I can't deal with you. If we in a show ring and I got you on the lead and you know what your job is and you still won't do it, that's not what we want to represent our breed. Do y'all want everybody around the world to look at this is what an American Bully is? This is what y'all been doing for years. Fuck around and made Dax a champion. Then you see videos and this dog look like I've been riding his back his whole damn life and stiff as shit. But we got more excuses. I don't want my dogs to be champions. Y'all can't shame me at all about my dogs. I know everything about my dogs. Anybody who want to bring up my dog's parents and this, that, and the other, I will tell you what's wrong with my dogs, but what I will also tell you is that my dogs will kick y'all motherfucking dogs' asses and outside the ring and very much so inside the ring, and we proved that by all these damn championships. And I'm telling you, as far as my yard go, we might not even be the best yard, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I'm not satisfied with my own yard. So, and I'm damn sure not satisfied with some of the shit I'm seeing out here. This is what makes this thing great. I don't have, you know what I mean? What don't I like about Mandela? I don't like Mandela's rear end angulation at all. I think Mandela is as close to being cowhawked as you can be without being cowhawked. You know, I want that straight, beautiful, straight movement. Maybe it's because of his size. Now, if you look at him when Mandela stacks, his top line is immaculate. His front feet are immaculate. He shapes up. The dog is very very close to being what I want. But in his rear end, I think he gets that from his mama. He's very close to being cowhawked. He straightens it out just enough that if I was judging him, I'd be like, okay, you can go ahead. But that's not what I want. It's just that simple. We have to be better. You know, we have to be better. At the end of the day, I mean, we have gotten to the point where we laugh. I laugh at y'all. You talking about Rocco is better? Rocco ain't better than shit, man. You talking about Rocco? I tell you right now, Denzel is damn near 11-year-old dog. I get to stacking Denzel and he would destroy that shit. And one thing about when I stack this old ass dog that I don't have to do is I don't have to touch him. I never had to teach a dog to lower his ass. I never had to pull Denzel around the ring. I put up a video a couple weeks ago of Poop, a 3-year-old, 5-pound kid, excuse me, that tell Mandela to come on right now, and Mandela come with him. Don't have to pull him, don't have to tug him, don't have to do none of that. And this is a 100-pound dog. If you want a subpar ass dog and you wanna do it, I mean, but we can compare. One thing we can compare is structure. It ain't even about types. We can compare structure. That's the one thing that we can compare for real, Marcus. We can compare structure. And the one thing that we can compare is that Denzel don't have no high rear. Denzel don't have no king tail. Denzel don't have a bad top line. Denzel ain't never been had to be pulled around the ring. Denzel got some big ass feet that I wish was small and tight like Vinny's. I will say that. I will say that Denzel needs tighter skin. I never liked Denzel. I always did. If it was one true regret with Denzel, I tell you, I break my dogs down to the nitty gritty. The one thing I never liked about Denzel is that I wished he had gargoyle skin. My God, if he had gargoyle skin pulled tight with the Aquaman suit and them tiny baby paws, he would have been, for me, he would have been a perfect pocket. Just being honest. Hallie was the perfect pocket, but Hallie didn't have the proper head shape. At one point in time, Hallie, before she died, Hallie's head was basically damn near just shy of being Mandela's head, but it never was the right shape. It was very circular. I didn't want that. I wanted the cheeky. If y'all notice if you ask me about my dogs, I give you the most honest opinion. I tell you the smallest shit I don't like, and I'll be very honest about it. It's you know. I've seen some beautiful dogs off of Waffle House, but I think Waffle House has a long ways to go before he's a legend. You know, legends are that big status where you've produced a long, long line of dogs, and very few reach it. I think that's the best part about dogs that reach legendary status is that it's tough. But Waffle House is doing this thing. I'm loving some of the dogs that I'm seeing off of that dog. Loving it. Trust me, loving it. And I think we need more of it. We need more beautiful, beautiful dogs. And the thing about it is that I've seen some beautiful Dax dogs. But I think even when you have the Dax blood, you have to breed it properly and keep it tight. And like Chewy, some people have kept it on point, you know. But I think if we get this mentality that we want to keep it on point and we want to raise the bar to a certain level, we can do that. We can do that. Why do we have to keep on lowering our standards? My standards are so far out there as to where I want my dogs to be. I can't tell. People think I'm bullshitting when I say it's gonna take me 3 or 4 more generations. Me and Danny butt heads, and we be in there just all the time. Think we got to do this, we got to do that. I mean, I'm not gonna say if. When I finally had a yard that I have, I guarantee ain't nobody ever gonna want another dog in their life. Because my vision of what I want out of my dogs is something amazing. I've seen some dogs that, ooh, that would be something that might fit my program. But I think nobody has really. I've seen a few people who are getting there, but when do we get to that point that it's like I went to a show, right? I was actually judging this show, and man, it blew my mind because I wasn't judging those dogs. I was judging the bullies. Um, and I'm learning. I'm standing there with an OG judge, and he's teaching me, and he's teaching me about these other breeds and things to look for. And for me, it's super exciting. The judge that I was with was actually a big time guy, somebody I look up to. And as he pointed out more and more things, I was just so amazed and enamored by these other breeds because I'm seeing these breeds and I'm seeing 10, sometimes 15 dogs in this breed. And when I tell you that I'm like a deer in headlights because I couldn't pick the right one. Not the right one, but I couldn't pick the one that was just head and heels above the rest of the dogs. And I didn't feel bad about it, but it let me know something. Not only how far I have to go as a dog man and as a judge to have a certain eye, but it also let me know how far we had to go as a breed. Because to see 15 champions out here, and as you break them down, and I did get to have the notes as to what the standards was for these dogs. Man, you had 15 dogs that basically fit the standard to the T. One of the dogs on this day was a dog called the Pharaoh Hound. And I'm telling you, I couldn't even tell these damn dogs apart from each other. Then they had the sheep dogs, and those dogs are real hard because they got so much hair. But, to see the level at what these dogs was competing at, and then to tell me, to have, an expert in my ear pointing out little things that might be the difference, in this show. It was amazing. I love Ruger too. Ruger is one of my favorite dogs of all time. I got a chance to check Ruger out. I think the biggest flaw in Ruger is that he wasn't bred enough. Man, it's a gorgeous dog. Gorgeous dog. I can proudly say that a dog I produced is his grandfather, Denzel's brother Rome. And he got that bull master right there. Bad, bad boy, man. And that's, I think, I always wanted to see a show where you could get Ruger and Bison and just have a crew of dogs like the bear and, just have a bunch of badass dogs in the ring at the same time. Yeah, might be my favorite of all time. Pokemon was a beast. He had his little issues too. But it's just, we have to get to a point of excellence to where our show rings are of top notch. I've been talking to a lot of people. Talk, 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 talk. And that's the thing. This is outsiders' perspectives of our community is that, we can't be taken serious as a community until we take our dogs serious. You know. And the thing of it is, it's not to insult our community, but it's to be real about our community. We might call these other people and say they snobs, they stuck up, all these different things that I hear people say, but the reality is these people know dogs. So when they see your dogs and they start pointing out little issues on your dog, you can either listen and try to, make your dog better, or you can get offended like most people do in our community. But as the TVKC grows, I promise you, you're gonna see a lot of people. Man, look. Well, let me finish this statement. As the TVKC grows, you're gonna see a lot of people who we would consider outsiders, and these people are gonna come in there with different dogs, and they're gonna come in there with intentions on kicking our asses and showing us that we don't know how to breed. We shouldn't have dogs, and they're gonna come with a chip on their shoulder because to the rest of the world, American bully breeders should not have dogs. To a lot of the people in the dog world, we considered as the scum of the earth. I'm just being honest with y'all. You know, uh, it's something else, man. Let me answer these two questions, y'all. One of them, will an aggressive female produce aggressive pups? Generally, she's supposed to. If it's in a dog's temperament that they're aggressive, most of the time their puppies will follow through. Every now and then you get some that don't, but it also depends on, to what effect it'll be is how the temperament of the father was. But honestly, if it's an overly aggressive female, I stopped breeding overly aggressive dogs a long time ago. You know, if you're gonna sell a dog, man, you gotta live with that. You gotta live with the fact that you're gonna send this dog home to somebody, and they might have kids, and if this dog grows into being a problem, that dog could, do some damage fast. So honestly, I wouldn't breed an overly aggressive female. If she's got a little fire, a little spark, like I say, Castro is very good with people, but he hates the other dogs. That's not a big deal in the American bully community for a dog to be game, you know. But it's a big deal if that dog is willing to sink teeth into people. I'm just being real with y'all. Any dog that's willing, any American bully that's very, very willing to turn and sink his teeth into a person, you should consider not breeding that dog. Because this breed, I mean, even from its roots and its origins, this is not what the dog is supposed to be. Dogs shouldn't have human aggression. One of our judges, actually, she was very swift of feet to get out of the way of a dog that tried to get her in the ring. And we always have to think of those situations, man. We're adults, we get bit, that's one thing. But what about a kid? See, Steph, that's the way it has to be. You have to make that decision. And that's Alvy. Alvy is an OG dog, man. Like he said, he don't breed people aggressive dogs. The dog aggression is cool, especially in this breed. You're gonna have it. You should have it. You should have some kind of drive to where these dogs look at other dogs like, hey, I do whatever. But damn, you can't. It's very, very dangerous. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's super dangerous to start breeding human aggression into your dogs, especially dogs with these capabilities. These dogs are very athletic. Hey, thanks, Tim. I had to get it last year. I rarely get to wear my Browns gear with pride. Well, we actually got 2 wins in a row. I think that's the first time in like 900 years or some shit. But, hopefully we don't get destroyed next week. But yeah, it's very serious. I wouldn't do it honestly. Just on that aggressive topic, I wouldn't do it. Now, what flaw did I see on Ruger? Ruger was, man. Ruger was something else, man. I tell you that. Ruger was something else. Ruger was probably the most complete dog I've seen in a long time. I remember when Fernando had him out. I was checking him out, man. And the only thing I could say about Fernando, I mean, not about Fernando, only thing I could say to Fernando about Ruger was like, well, he got big feet. That was it, man. And his big feet was still correct. He's a big ass dog. I mean, the dog is gorgeous. I've not, I haven't seen Bison in years, and a lot of people say the Bison compares very favorably to him. I've never, what's funny, Bobo, is I haven't seen Uno in person since I sold Uno. I sold Uno, he was 10-week-old puppy. All I've ever seen is pictures since then. But Uno from the pictures is incredible. And talking to a couple of judges who know, it was like, damn. They say that really a lot of people think that Uno is the better dog than Bison. And that's saying a lot considering Bison has 3 grand champions. So ain't no telling, man. You know. But Ruger, I did get to see in person, just like Bison. And I say it's a tragedy that them two dogs didn't have a rivalry going head to head more because they were impressive dogs. I tell you, I would love to get something off Ruger, but last time I heard, Ruger was only bred like one time. You know, Fernando really don't care about breeding. He breeds here and there. It's hard, but yeah, Ruger hasn't been bred a lot at all. Which I think is a tragedy. Dog should at least been bred 10 to 15 times in his lifetime because the dog is amazing. And from all American bullies, he would rate right up there. That's a dog that I tell you on any day could beat any other dog, depending on showing. Why don't I like dogs with big feet? Shit, I got big feet. You know, I don't know. I guess I've always had this thing of tiny paws. You know, I love to see them. It's funny we talk about dogs, but I love to see them dogs with them old cat paws, just them real tight ass feet. Yeah, Luke, it's like the feet do look a little bit sloppy. Like I never liked it. I always liked those tight feet. It just said the dog was put together. For me anyway, it just seemed like they always prance better, they move better. So I really do love I really do love the tight feet, and I think that it's something about it when you judging. Although you would think you start looking at the head, I think most judges start looking at the feet like right off top, just boom, just right in on the feet because that's the foundation, and you got to go with the foundation, man. You got to go with the foundation. Feet, for me, feet, top line is a must. I love a beautiful top line. The feet and them top line, and those are two of the strongest qualities in any dog. And I think, when you talk about top line, uh, top line goes a lot with confirmation. You know, top line goes, I agree, Bobo, for real. Top line goes a lot with confirmation because, yeah, Mr. Orr, you right, that rear. But it's most of the time you won't find a dog that has a beautiful top line if the rear doesn't fit. Most times. My brother was calling in while I'm doing this. But most times you won't find a dog with a beautiful top line and a screwed up rear. Most times. And that's what symmetry is everything. It all needs to flow together. Just like I don't want a dog whose chest doesn't match his rear, talking about being symmetrical. Or sometimes we see those dogs that are too wide in the front and the head is like a pin head and that drives you crazy. This is like, what I'm saying, the ultimate in breeding dogs is that it goes down to all these little particular things and how we're going to put it together. It's not a simple task to make a gorgeous dog. It's not a simple task at all. It takes a lot, and that's why I say when we add in certain dogs, you might get one great dog out of it, but you still added in the bad genes, and you got to always plan around those bad genes. Where I would just search and search and search till I find a dog that I feel like I don't have to change anything. And that's the key. You build a pedigree. If you've got very clean, nice bully dogs for 3 or 4 generations in a row, it's going to allow you to keep on producing those. Now you've created a machine. Your dog's DNA is so strong that he's just popping them out, and it becomes the norm. Whereas if you keep on adding these things that quote unquote, we're fixing, you're gonna be fixing for the next 3 or 4 generations, and the sad part is you're gonna be fixing for the next 3 or 4 generations after that. We're supposed to be building towards making a very, very nice, solid pedigree of good dogs. I mean, I wasn't saying I just look at the top line and feet. I definitely got to look at the whole entire dog. When I'm judging, I look at everything from, the bite, I look at the color of the eyes. That's why a lot of people um, wonder why I tend to squat a lot when I'm judging is because I like to get eye level with the dog to make sure that the color of the eyes and the shapes of the eyes is good. From eye level, I can see the ear set a lot better, you know. You can see all the small little nuances. Plus, I can see the actual movement of the dog without looking down at the dog at an angle. I want to get a chance to be level and see how he's moving and if it's a hitch in there. Because sometimes when you got two really good dogs, it could be the smallest thing that be the decision factor. I know I spoke of that before when I was in Colombia, and it came down to the final four dogs. It was very, very, very hard, you know, because all four dogs were very, very well handled. They they just fit the standards that they were supposed to be. And the difference became the dog that actually won, whose name was actually Pablito Escobar. He performed. He never broke his stride. He was always just locked in, show ready, where some of the other dogs that looked like they got tired, started messing around a little bit. And that was the deciding factor because those other dogs were very, very, very close, you know, very close, very close. And I agree with you 100%, Mark. You have to break these dogs down from toenails to tooth, you know. I mean, you know, touching the tail, making sure that the tail, you know, sets properly on the hocks when you're measuring, you know, for tail length. Sometimes some dogs look like they have a full tail, and when you start actually checking it out, it's shorter. Some dogs are actually too long, you know, and you'll run across them, and then sometimes that's hard to tell when they're holding their tail up. That's why you need to go ahead, bam, touch here or there. Some people wonder what it is that a lot of times you see the judge putting a little bit of pressure on the rear. It's just for me, it's a generic way to see how strong those hips are and if there's a problem there. I'm gonna tell you, if you have a dog who has bad hips and you lean on that dog's rear a little bit, a lot of times sometimes they'll even yelp or might even try to snap back at you because they're in pain, unfortunately. But a lot of times they buckle. They want to sit down, you know. Yeah, if you checking, you know, you got to check for the knots in the tail. Good judges are going to do these things, you know. Check for all the small things and go over the standard the proper way. But, you know, my ultimate goal with everybody is just to make sure that these are the dogs that are winning. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, Rocco is a bulldog, you know. The dog, this is the thing, if you put Rocco's head next to an American bulldog, you would have the same dog. I've seen him do it too many times. His features are not that of an American bully, they're more that of an American bulldog. You know, I mean, he has those circular eyes, the very round head. You know, he just has it, you know. And I think the one thing about it is that the sad part about it is that when we have these dogs that come along, because if the dog was not called an American bully, you know, I've said many a times that I like his look. You know, I don't like his conformation, but I like his look. But that is not an American bully look. You know, that is more of an American bulldog look with cropped ears. And you know, we try to fit these dogs in because we don't have a real standard. And I'm not talking about just a written standard, but I'm talking about a standard that we actually follow. Until we start following our standards to the correct level, we're going to keep on just pushing any dog in. I mean, you look at some of these dogs and they literally are English bulldogs with their ears cropped, but we allow that, you know. The Powie Wowie. That shit's funny. But you know, he really, excuse me, he really does lack a lot of breed type. And the funniest thing is we oftentimes means, you know, I mean, you know, all you got to do is just take a look at an American Bulldog and put his head next to it. You know, he doesn't have the same type of face of a Ruger, you know, or a bison, or, you know, even the bear, you know. And the bear is quite bully, you know. It's just, yeah, exactly, Ruben. That's what it's come down to, is that people don't care about standards anymore. We want to do what we want to do, and that's the funniest thing. Like, if you go in, with a Rottweiler, if you go in there and the dog's head is too big, they'll tell you that's too big and it is gone. But then in our community, we sort of just try to push them in. Try to push them in. I see some of the so-called OG breeders that are breeding straight English bulldogs now. Their dogs look so bulldogish, and it's about breeding what's hot. Whereas we want to stick to what's the right way to be, the right way to breed, to push our breed forward. You know, it'll take some time, but we have to get locked in on this. I want a hyperactive community that breaks dogs down. Okay, we can't worry about giving two shits about who gets offended, who cries, or whatever. The hell with them. If they crying, so what? If your dog is cowhawked, he cowhawked. They called it. A true dog man to be like, you know what? We just have to, we have to fix this. Like, you break my dogs down and you do the say things with my dogs. I know it's certain things I just have to fix with my dogs. Have to get better. Right now we are, we getting a whole nother place. We good. But things have to get better. We fought too hard for this breed to let it go, just based off of our greed, to let it deteriorate like this with the health issues. You know, which bully would best represent the TVKC standard? Uh, well, I say you take a look at a dog like Ruger would be excellent for the standard. Honestly, I love I love a lot of dogs, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I think putting Ruger as the face of the American Bully it would be a great thing. One of the best I've seen. The pocket. The pocket class trips me out because am I the only one that noticed that the pocket class look like they turned into Dachshunds? The pockets got the longest damn backs ever. Ruger's height was close like 19 inches. Ruger's a big ass dog, 18, 19 inches. But yeah, the Dachshunds they back. I mean these little pockets, they backs is so long. They long as shit now, and they long with high rears. I don't know what the hell I don't know who doing this, but that shit is crazy. Like I was watching some of them, and I'm like, whoa. Like I'm just watching the classes, and they all the backs just get longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. And back in the day, the pockets used to have short backs. I don't know what the hell y'all doing missing them Dachshunds into these damn dogs, but y'all got to stop these wiener bullies. Cause it's some weird shit. It's some weird shit. I hope not your bullies, cause that shit is terrible. Which ride, Danny Smith? Inbox me that month, cause you know I got 4 rides, unfortunately, that I produced that people name ride. That's the crazy part. And my memory is terrible. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm on drugs, so my shit is right now is doing everything in me to get through this. But we just got to do better. We gonna do the radio show tomorrow night. But it's just the same preaching all night, every night. What's going on, OG Terry Witts? But it's gonna be the same thing. We doing a ton of shows this year coming up, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got a lot of real good people that's jumping on board, man. Yeah, Mark said, I see him. I see. It's crazy. We got a lot of good people jumping on board, and our main thing is just to bring the true essence of the American Bully back. And not only that, but to have some fun with some of these other breeds. As y'all know, I have Dobermans. I used to have Rottweilers. I actually started off with Rottweilers. Absolutely no politics. We're going to have a lot of great dog people in there, and we want it to be suspenseful again as to who's going to win the show that day. Because without the politics, you never know who's going to win. It's going to be great. As of right now, I think Stark County Fairgrounds, Canton, Ohio, is February 1st. That'll be one of the Ohio shows, and hopefully they give me a ring tomorrow morning because what I want to do is I want to set the February show, then I want to come right back June or July and do another show in Canton, Ohio. And that's just two of the shows. I'm sure we're gonna do a lot more. But it's gonna be good to go, man. It's gonna be. You gotta send me an address, man. I get you together. But hey, I am my wiener bully. But I made it as far as I can make it tonight. Powie Wowie will be in the house, Canton, Ohio. That's gonna be a good show. A lot of people gonna be there. Norreal gonna hook us up with that North Carolina thing, I think. So we working on it, man. We got South Carolina. It's just I got pulled in so many different directions. I got a ton of good people that I'm working with that's gonna be putting things together too, and it's really my fault that we haven't got there. Hey man, I can't. Y'all you gonna understand that throughout this process, it's gonna be a ton of hate because when you got so many people doing the wrong thing and you get people start talking about doing the right thing, hate. That's with anything. People gonna start really, really going at your neck. And I've unfortunately had to deal with it for a long time, but that doesn't bother me, man, because I think ultimately, if we prevail, the dogs prevail. Like I told y'all, when I see the American bully where it needs to, where it's at, I don't have no problem. I don't plan on being the president of the TBKC past our first nationals, which will be in 2020. After the first nationals, I won't even be the president anymore. It'll be more like a regular company without me doing the talking, a lot more organized and somebody that y'all can holler at. Then I'll be at the show with y'all, probably half drunk or something, sipping on that good skinny girl wine, but be enjoying myself. But if remember TBKC Dogs, if any of y'all have locations, no real, I know I need to get with you. I will be. Belinda, I know. My voice is coming back. I send you over the information. Ain't no problem at all, brother. Uh, we, we on our way. It's a lot of good things. But if y'all want to know what we really are about, and it's not just the American bully. Like I said, we have over 20 breeds. But our excuse me, I'm dying over here. But our main objective is just to make these dogs what they're supposed to be. Fair competition and picking the best representatives of every breed each and every time. And more importantly, being a part of the community and pulling some things together and making some changes. We're not politicians, but we do want to make a change not only in the dog community but anywhere that we can. But yeah, it's about time to get some of that skinny girl and sit my ass down, look over all these papers and breedings, and start messaging everybody who's been trying to contact me for the last 9 years. But tomorrow night we do the radio show. I'll post it up. I'll get y'all the time. I'll jump on YouTube and put the ad up there in the morning so everybody knows what time it is. But until next time, it is holiday season. I remind y'all this. This is the number one time of the year for suicide. It's the hardest time of the year for depression. A lot of it has to do with people missing people, and so y'all remember that, man. You might have family members or friends you ain't called and said what's up to, but check on your people and show them some love, man. And you'd be surprised what a phone call will do to people who just might be feeling terrible and you don't even know it because they fake smiling all the time. But hey, God bless all y'all. Holla at y'all later. Peace. James Lewis, we won today, baby. Go Browns.